Hi everyone, this is Jill from the North Woods. Thank you so much for watching. Today is a new start of a week, and that makes this week 9. I just took my dose today, and I again feel fine. The nice thing about it is I lost 0.7 pounds, and that feels all right. I think the overused statement of this is a marathon, not a sprint, is the right way to look at it. But 0.7, I'm pretty happy with that. I had the chance to visit my doctor. I have a brand new doctor. My doctor retired during the pandemic, and I sort of put off going to the doctor for a long time. Do not recommend that. And I got this week a chance to meet my doctor. Really nice guy. And he is a professor of public health. So he knows a lot about research, about making people healthy. And I work in clinical trials research in the IT world. I know a lot of researchers, and I've talked to a lot of different researchers because I'm trying to find answers to things. I'm a very curious person. So if I find someone who's researching cell oncology, I'm going to talk to that guy because I want to know more about what he does or she does. So one time I was traveling and I met with a person who primarily did weight loss types of research. And the number one burning question in my head was, why do plateaus happen? How do we get stuck? I had been stuck, I think, for the last couple of weeks. My weight loss has been pretty down. Like I said, first I got sick and then my weight loss died entirely. I kicked back up again. Pretty lackluster. In fact, I think I lost 10 pounds my first month, and I've lost 3.7 pounds this entire second month. Now I'm starting my third month. Why do plateaus happen? Again, I don't think this is a full-blown plateau. I have in the past been at the same weight for 7 weeks, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But plateaus come for a couple of different reasons. The first one comes to mind is that sometimes we just slip on our habits. We don't notice that we're taking in a little extra calories than we thought we were. We maybe stopped recording every food item that goes into our mouth. And then when we stop losing weight, we start to look at it like, what happens? What went wrong? Oh yeah, I did have that extra piece of banana bread. Oh, I didn't really weigh to see how much that steak I ate really weighed. Funny thing is, I just learned that my microwave that I've owned for several years, if you let it sit for a moment, it will tell you the weight that is on top of the microwave scale. I had no idea. So weighing food becomes important. And so maybe you're just slipping on your habits. Maybe you think you're working out every day, but it's not been quite as consistent as you hoped it would be. Those are some of the reasons. There are reasons too that it could do with salt. Maybe you're having a particularly high salt diet. I noticed on Mounjaro that when I have a very salty food time, my weight just stops. Now, for the most part, that's going to be water retention. As you eat salt or as you eat carbohydrates, your water retains inside of your body. And sometimes it's just weird biology. I fundamentally believe that for the most part, 3,500 calories equals a pound. When you're trying to lose weight, you give yourself a 3,500 calorie deficit, you're going to lose a pound. Overall, it's not quite the math we hoped it would be. Some days, like I said, it's water retention. Sometimes you're maybe not recording your food as well as you could be, or your exercise, or perhaps your exercise treadmill is overestimating how many calories you burn while you're on your rower, treadmill, whatever it is you're using. But what happens too, and this is what the researcher told me. She says if it's a true plateau where you're literally doing the same thing you always do and you're not losing weight, there's a couple things going on. Is that first of all, sometimes the body just slows down. It just is burning glycogen in your cells. It's pulling it out. It's burning it out. She said that surprisingly, much of the weight that you lose comes out your mouth in carbon. That was kind of surprising. I always thought it came out other places. But the other part that she talked about is the fact that your body, she said, is struggling very much in general, just in general, to keep you between perfect temperatures. It is doing a lot of calculations, a lot of math to keep you alive. We only can exist between, I don't know what the low temperatures, but let's say 95 to 105. We have a 10-degree place where we live. And then if we get outside of that, we start to not thrive anymore. So our body is trying to do all this math to keep us at this temperature. She said, if you lose a lot of weight, your body might call halts to the whole thing because it wants to recalculate all the numbers. It needs a little bit of time to readjust so that you are burning at the proper rate, that you are at the right temperature, and doing those kinds of math calculations. So sometimes your body itself, she said, will put a halt to it. She also said, too, that sometimes the body in women will panic because what if we get pregnant? How are we going to sustain a baby? So if we're losing too much fat and the body becomes, I don't want to say concerned because that's anthropomorphizing it all, but it might slow up on things just in case it might need some fat stores for an emergency. Maybe we're on the verge of a famine. You have to think, our bodies think like first century people. Oh no, it's a feast. Oh no, it's a famine. For the entire history of mankind, us putting on fat helped us to thrive, helped us to be healthy people. If I put on a little extra weight during the feasting time, then when I get to the famine time, I have a little bit stored so that I can burn through it. That is what kept the human race going. And someone said, because you've had ancestors in your past who are good fat stores, you lived. So that means that we are now a whole civilization of good fat stores. And now it's not serving us the same way. So our body also wants to maintain some level of fat in our body in case something happens. So she said that there's basically a lot of reasons why these plateaus happen and what do we do about it. I started talking to my doctor a little bit because I did tell him that maybe I was on a plateau, but maybe I wasn't. But then right at the very end of the week, I started losing weight again. And I said, how do you know when Mounjaro is not working anymore? Is it not working with your blood sugar? Is it not working to pull energy out of your fat cells and use them so that we can get rid of it? Is it just not working on a psychological scale where we feel the food cravings again? And he said, quite honestly true, that we don't know a lot about how this drug works, why it does such a good job, the full extent of all the things it does. I even let him know. I said, I have given up shopping, Diet Coke, a whole slew of bad habits I had. I've given up. Wow, that's just amazing. So if we get stuck in a plateau, what can we do about it? And he has a very conservative view about the GLPs. He says think of it more as a high dive than a diving board, meaning the higher you go up, the harder it is, the longer it is you crash. Because at some point, you're going to hit that maximum dose and there's no place to go. There's nothing you can do. I read the sad story about this woman who was misusing the GLPs because I think she probably hit that plateau and she ended up dying from it. You can't go beyond what the doctor tells you to do in these. These are still, even though our body makes this, medicine is a dose and poison is too much of that dose, right? And you don't want to poison yourself. So what can we do in order to get through these? And he said, first of all, what I want you to do is not get tempted to cut your calories even more. That is the first thing everyone thinks about. In the Start with Small Steps podcast, on January 9th, I did episode 122 called The One Word is the One Thing. And the premise behind the book that I was reviewing is that we should always come up with a one-word goal. Something that is going to be, this is what I'm going to focus on. The one thing I really need to focus on. And I was going to do that last year, but then my one word became, it became two words, but became new job because I was getting a new job and all my energy had to be focused in this. Now that I got put on this drug, my big word is health. So when you think about getting stuck inside of some kind of a rut, some kind of a plateau with your weight loss, like I said, the first instinct is to drop calories. And that's why I keep that word health in my brain, because I want to be healthy in the end of this. I don't want to lose muscle. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to become sick. I don't want to lose bone mass and become fragile. Bone mass, when you lose it, is very hard to get back. And me starving myself, that is not health. That goes against everything. So to me, 1,200 calories is my bottom line. I'm going to get that every day. My nutritionist, my doctor, my trainer all said 1,200 calories for a person your height is the bare minimum to go. So I'm always going to do that. A good step then is to reassess what you're eating. Are you having too much salt? Is your food too processed? Is it healthy for you? Like I said, I've made 3 things in my diet mandatory: protein, fiber, water. I get those 3 stats in every day, and I don't have any problems. My doctor asked me if I was having side effects. I said, as long as I do those 3 things, nope. When I have skipped those 3 things, either because I was sick or got lazy about it, suddenly I started having side effects. So I refocus myself on what it is I'm eating. If I'm eating too much processed food, if I'm eating too much salty food, I get away from it. So when I was stuck this week, what I did was I ended up reducing the amount of salt I ate inside of foods. So sometimes I looked at something and I said, that has a lot of food. And I tried for just 1 week to get rid of the salt, or at least lower it as best I could. Then my weight started moving again. Salt seems to be right now my big nemesis. Then, because we don't want to go down in calories, what else can we do? We can go up in exercising. I'm already on a 3-day-a-week weightlifting program, or resistance, or, it's all weight strength training. I already do that 3 times a week. And usually on Sunday, I do some kind of a stretch because I get crunchy, and so I wanted to make sure that I stay limber and that I can move around. But I still have 3 days, and I had slacked since I got sick on cardio. You know what? Back. Cardio is back. I'm back on it. I'm back to doing it. I'm going to be more dedicated to it. Again, I started out this week, dropped the salt, up the cardio, had a good week, or a better week. I think the thing we don't think of, too, is general activity. Back when I started working out with a trainer, I got some kind of moral licensing, I guess. I don't know the right term for it. But hey, I'm working out my trainer. That means I can sit here and play video games all the rest of the time because I'm doing the thing I need to be doing. Going to see a trainer is my ticket to guilt-free living. And then I learned something interesting once I got my first Apple Watch. When you look at the calories it records, I could work out with the trainer. I could even work out a little bit more at home. If I didn't move around throughout the day, my calories were very low. If I just sat there like a lump, did nothing all day long, barely moved, I'm not burning calories. So I might be exercising and burning calories, but just being a human being burning calories wasn't happening. So just think about the fact that you need to increase your daily exercise and you need to increase your daily motion. Clean the house, mow the lawn, go for a walk, do something else that maybe isn't as intense as cardio, but still good for you. And if you have an Apple Watch, where I started out, try to get your 3 rings every day. They're good standards. Stand at least 12 hours a day, do 30 minutes of exercise once a day, and try to just move around enough to where you get a calorie burn of 500 calories a day just being a living human being. Good goals. But if you can rev up your activity, if you can rev up your persistence and cardio and strength training, it's going to go a long way. Now, when I lost weight the first time, I got down to a weight that I had been in high school. And I was there at that weight for a really long time. Isn't it funny how overweight a person can feel in high school, and now you just pray that you could get back to where you were in high school? It's kind of weird. But I was at that weight for a very, very long time. And when I hit that weight on my way down, my body stopped. So I don't think in that case it was necessarily a math situation where I had lost so much weight my body wanted to do math. I think it had more to do with, we're real comfortable here. We like this weight. Remember when we were at this weight for nearly 4 years? Good times. So I do think that there is some kind of a memory of places where our body was kind of happy and it sticks there. I was at that plateau, not taking any medication at all, for 7 weeks. Boy, that was a tough one. And all I did was unfortunately gut it out. I persisted at everything I was doing. I increased my cardio. So I used to just go and do minor exercises for 30 minutes on a cardio machine. Got a bike. Started knocking out an hour on that bike. Do you know how much more calories you burn on a real bicycle for an hour compared to an exercise bike for maybe 30 minutes? I mean, don't say double, but it's more than double because you have to keep your micro balance when you're on a real bike. You have to speed up, slow down, go over this hill. It's a lot more. Once I fell off my bike and my heart rate spiked, and I was like, wow, falling off your bike is good cardio. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so you just keep going. Be more physically active. If you have yard work to do, go do the yard work. You don't have to do it in big lump sums, but staying persistent and keeping at it is going to help you. Sometimes these things happen too when we're not healthy. Have you been eating too few calories? Are you really stressed out and having a lot of anxiety? Is it possible that you're not sleeping, not drinking enough water, not eating enough nutrition? I think when the body recognizes that something is missing, something is awry, we are in trouble, it also slows down the weight loss. Again, I don't have proof of it. There's not a lot of proof in general about it. Everyone has a theory about why these things happen, but I've seen it before, that either I'm unhealthy or I'm not sleeping or I'm not drinking enough water or eating enough food or something. The body seems to shrink up, like, uh-oh. It does not know when you have a lot of anxiety and stress that it's just about work. For all it knows, thinks, wow, she has tigers living around her and she needs to maintain some energy in case she needs to run away from those tigers because clearly she's afraid of something. Your body does not recognize fear differently than excitement, than differently like frustration at work. And so if you get too wigged out on a few stressful moments, I think the body worries you might have to run away quickly because maybe there's going to be a bear chasing you out of the woods. It doesn't really know. And then the last thing I saw when I lost weight the first time and hit plateaus is that sometimes your body gets used to a certain kind of exercise. I started biking a lot, and I started getting really into biking, which I plan on doing again very soon. And it suddenly stopped having quite the big effect it used to have for me. Your body gets used to a certain kind of exercise. Okay, we got this. We're good at this. And you start kind of mechanically with your heart and your muscles getting better at it. Shake up your exercise routine. If you're biking a lot and it's just not happening for you, try going for a walk. Try working out on a stair climber machine. Something like that. Something that you can shake up your exercise plan. Get your body a little bit like, ooh, what's this? A new thing. And it starts learning new skills. It starts using new muscles. The other downside is if you keep doing the same exercise over and over again, like I was doing biking, you get very strong in some muscles and very weak in others. So it's good just in general to shake up your exercise regime a little bit. And I think too that if you are having a big plateau and you're getting very frustrated, maybe stop weighing yourself for a little bit. Like I said, you want to reassess what you're eating, reassess how you're exercising, but maybe, give yourself a break a little bit from weighing in. I weigh in every morning, and when my scale wasn't budging at all, every day it was exactly the same or maybe a little higher. Got frustrated. And so I stopped weighing myself every day. Let's just do it once a week for a little bit while I'm having this time. And that kind of brought me out of the doldrums, got me out of my head a little bit and thinking about that. But my doctor, just to bring it back, said, if you hit a plateau, I hope that your first action won't be to call me to up your dose. Because at some point, you're going to reach a maximum dose. Not only that, the bigger your dose, the more your side effects are going to be. And you're not going to feel great. So the longer you can stay at this dose, which is 5 milligrams right now, the better off you'll be. The better you'll feel. The better your system will take to it. It won't shut down and get all the side effects that people have. And if at some point you really do need to move up in dose, we do it more slowly so that maybe you never hit that peak where you have no room to go. Good advice. I like this new doctor. He was sufficiently researchy, and I really liked everything that he was talking to me about. So anyway, that's my advice. Plateaus do happen. They're a reality, but we can, with some persistence and maybe giving ourselves a little bit of a break, get past them. They take a lot of patience. So I hope that helps a little bit. To give you a little bit more update, like I said, I'm continuing on the same dose I am now. And I had to start kicking up my cardio, so that's been a success this week. This, and I'm not going to stand up and show it to you, someday I will, is my thin shirt. So I got into my thin pants, the pants that didn't fit me when I started this, because like I said, I lay out an outfit of clothes I cannot wear so that I try them on every once in a while, and if I can wear them, progress. So the pants I got into, primarily because I'm losing all my weight in my waist and a little bit here and there. But today, when I was looking for a shirt to record in, this is my thin shirt. It's probably a little bit too tight still. It's going to still need a couple of more weeks, but I'm almost there. Seeing something that you couldn't wear before, boy, that's huge progress. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a fantastic week. Plateaus and stagnating weight where you get stuck, not fun at all. I feel for you. I've been there so many times before too, but we can get past them. So thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, you can email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com, or you can visit my website, abetterlifeinsmallsteps.com. That is the hub for all my podcasts. I do a lot of talking about goals in my podcast, and so that's why these videos are on the YouTube channel for my podcast. Anyway, thanks so much. Have a great week, and you can let me know how your experience has been.